The best product leaders aren't just product managers. They are part psychologists, part economists, part strategists. They see the world through a lens of first principles. But how do you move from theory to practice? How do you stop being a victim of chaos and start being the architect of your own outcomes? This is the Sovereign PM, the podcast that deconstructs the ideas of product strategist Schwarzkopf to give you a more powerful way to think and lead. It's time to own your outcomes. Let's begin.
Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, let's unpack this. What if everything we, as product leaders, thought we were selling? What if it was fundamentally misguided?
That's a really strong hook to start with.
Well, think about it. What if the real genius behind, one of the most celebrated memos in tech history isn't just the clever writing?
You mean Butterfield's Saddles memo?
Exactly.
All right.
What if it's actually about a profound economic philosophy, one that kind of challenges nearly every modern corporate impulse?
Okay, I'm with you. So today, we're not just summarizing Stewart Butterfield's 2013 memo, "We don't sell saddles" here. We're going deeper.
Much deeper. We're stripping it down to its strategic first principles.
And looking at it through, well, a lens that's often overlooked in tech circles, Austrian School economics.
Yeah. Our mission here for you, our listener, is to uncover some new mental models, maybe some practical strategic frameworks you can actually apply in the, let's face it, often chaotic world of product management.
All right, sounds good. Where do we start?
Let's jump straight into the heart of it. The memo's most famous analogy, that fictional saddle company, Butterfield wrote, and I'm quoting here, "We don't sell saddles here."
Right.
The slogan of the saddle makers was, "We sell saddles," and they did. They were the best. But they did not understand what they were selling.
They thought they were selling saddles.
But what they were really selling was a better way for people to ride horses. So the big question for us, for you listening, are we selling what we think we are? Or are we missing that deeper subjective reality for our users?
You know, that opening salvo from Butterfield, it's essentially the cornerstone of the Austrian School's subjective theory of value. It's a total rejection of that old idea.
The labor theory of value, like value is baked into the thing itself.
Exactly. The idea that value is tied to the labor or the materials. Instead, this Austrian view says value is completely subjective. It's a judgment.
Made by an individual.
By an individual in a specific moment in their unique context, trying to achieve a specific personal goal. Value isn't in the product, it's assigned by the user.
Okay, so the saddle then, that's not just the physical thing. It's all the tangible features we pour our energy into, right? The UI, the code, file sharing, search.
All the stuff we usually focus on, polishing the saddle.
Right. But the better way to ride, that's the user's desired future state. It's more abstract. Less stress, maybe. Faster decisions. That feeling of control.
Precisely. Avoiding miscommunication, feeling competent, these internal subjective goals. And that leads directly to another key Austrian idea, methodological individualism.
Okay. What does that mean in this context?
It means Butterfield is forcing his team to stop asking that vague question, what does the market want? Markets don't want things, individuals do.
So instead they ask,
what progress is this one person in this one moment trying to make? It shifts the focus drastically from this big faceless market to the individual's specific struggle or goal.
That's a really critical distinction, isn't it? We often get lost in market segmentation personas, but they can sometimes smooth over those individual nuances.
They can, yeah.
But hang on, how does focusing so tightly on one individual's progress actually scale? Don't we as product leaders still need to think about shared patterns or broader pains?
Oh, absolutely. It's not about ignoring the market entirely. It's about understanding the market as emerging from the actions and needs of many individuals. Think of it as the intellectual ancestor.
Of jobs to be done.
Exactly, which many product leaders know well now. The danger, Butterfield implies, is falling in love with our saddles, our features.
Spending all our time debating the stitching, polishing the leather.
Instead of obsessing over the writer's internal subjective experience, we need to look past the thing we built and grasp the real job the user is trying to get done with it. Are we delivering a hammer or are we enabling someone to build a home? Big difference.
Okay. So if they're not selling saddles, what are they selling? This is where Butterfield takes that really interesting leap. He says, what we are selling is not the software product.
Right. That's bold.
We are selling organizational transformation. We are selling a reduction in information overload, relief from stress, a new ability to extract the signal from the noise. We are selling a better organization. We are selling a better team.
Wow.
I mean, that's not just tweaking the product description, is it? That's redefining the whole problem space. Why is that so profound?
Because it plugs directly into what F.A. Hayek, the Nobel laureate, called the knowledge problem. This is huge.
Explain that a bit, the knowledge problem.
Okay. Butterfield implicitly gets that the biggest bottleneck in almost any organization isn't a lack of data points. It's that the really critical, contextual, often tacit knowledge, the stuff you need for good decisions, it's scattered.
Across individuals.
Exactly. It's decentralized across countless people. And Hayek's point was, no central planner, no management team, no matter how smart, can ever truly gather and process all of that distributed knowledge effectively. It's too specific, too fleeting, too unspoken sometimes.
So you're saying Butterfield positions Slack not merely as a tool, like email or chat, but as a better system, a kind of protocol for that internal information market.
Precisely. A superior protocol. He saw it as a way to make the price signals of information clearer inside an organization.
Okay, give me an example. How does a reduction in information overload, like he said, how does that make these price signals clearer?
Well, think about it. Reducing overload means improving the signal-to-noise ratio. You're making it easier to spot the valuable information amidst the chatter. And when he says find the people and information you need when you need it,
that's directly tackling Hayek's knowledge problem by lowering search costs, right? Making that decentralized knowledge accessible.
Exactly. You're reducing the friction for that knowledge to surface and connect with the people who can use it.
That makes a lot of sense. So by improving how information flows, Slack enables or aims to enable a more effective spontaneous order within teams.
Yes. That's another key Hayekian concept.
Instead of everything being top-down, you're creating the conditions for teams to self-coordinate, solve problems faster, make better local decisions organically.
You're essentially creating the fertile ground. You're not selling the plant. You're selling the rich soil where intelligence can emerge.
Which feels really counterintuitive for a product company, doesn't it? We're usually focused on delivering the thing.
It is counterintuitive if you're stuck in that old control mindset. Most companies try to manage and direct information flow. Butterfield's insight, drawing on Hayek, is that the real power comes from enabling its free and cheap flow.
Like improving the plumbing rather than dictating what water goes through.
That's a great analogy. Imagine a distributed team. If crucial insights are locked away in individual email threads, the whole system is dumber than it should be. A platform that lets those insights surface quickly and find the right eyes. That's a systemic upgrade. It's infrastructure for collective intelligence.
Okay, but this leads to the really tricky part, I think. If you're selling something as abstract as organizational transformation, how on earth do you measure success? What's the metric?
And Butterfield had a powerful, almost startling answer for that. He said, the best, maybe the only, real direct measure of innovation is change in human behavior.
Just stop there for a second. Change in human behavior, not features shipped, not MAUs necessarily.
No, he continues. A real change in behavior is the only objective measure of success.
Wow. Okay, connect that back to the Austrian School.
This ties directly into Praxeology, a field really pioneered by Ludwig von Mises. It's essentially the study of human action.
Human action.
Yeah, it starts from a really simple but profound axiom.
Sure.
Humans act purposefully. We do things to achieve ends we desire. Butterfield seems to have intuitively grasped this and rejected the vanity metrics.
The stuff we often track. Active users, features shipped per quarter, uptime.
Right. The central planner's view. Instead, he adopted a praxeological standard. The only real proof that you've created value is if you see a tangible, observable change in how people are acting.
Okay, so give me a concrete example. Instead of saying, we shipped the new file sharing feature, 99.9% uptime.
A Butterfield-inspired team might say, we observed a 30% reduction in emails being sent with subject lines like, RE Final V3 revised draft.docs.
I see. That's an action, a behavioral change, not just an output of the factory.
Exactly. And this is revolutionary because it makes the team accountable not just for producing stuff, but for causing a change in behavior. It forces every single product decision, every feature idea, to be framed as a hypothesis about human action.
Like, we believe building X will cause users to do Y differently, which helps them achieve their goal Z.
Precisely. It's really the bedrock of modern, outcome-driven product management, isn't it? Deeply Austrian in its roots, even if people don't always realize it. It respects that, look, we can't crawl inside a user's head and know their subjective state.
But we can observe their actions.
Right, and their actions are the clearest proxy we have for their subjective valuation. It's a very pragmatic way to deal with an inherently abstract problem.
Okay, so the memo wraps up with this incredibly powerful call to arms. It frames Slack's launch not just as, another product release, but as a historical moment.
Yeah, he says, this is a big deal. The transition to a new medium of communication is the most significant change in an organization's working life. We are at the beginning of a once-in-a-generation transition, and we can be the ones to define the future.
That's some serious vision setting. So for us, for product leaders listening, how does this perspective empower a team? And how does it connect back to our strategic role?
Well, in the Austrian view, particularly thinking about Israel Kirzner's work, the entrepreneur isn't just an inventor or someone who takes risks. The defining characteristic is alertness.
Alertness to what?
Alertness to previously unnoticed opportunities for mutual gain. They spot a discoordination, an inefficiency, something broken that everyone else just accepts as, the way things are.
And Butterfield is that Kirznerian entrepreneur here.
Absolutely. He identified this massive systemic inefficiency, the broken market for internal communication, what people call email hell. He was alert to an opportunity that most people were just living with, resigned to.
Because they were too close to the problem.
Maybe. Or they just didn't see it as a solvable problem at that scale.
And framing it that way, as solving this huge inefficiency, that gives the team an incredible sense of purpose.
Yeah.
Right? It aligns everyone.
Totally. It transforms the work. You're not just building software anymore. You're leading a revolution in how organizations actually function. That's a narrative that gets people out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, that's powerful.
And for us as product leaders today, that's arguably the highest strategic calling, identifying those fundamental market inefficiencies. Butterfield's call to arms wasn't just rah-rah motivation. It was the articulation of this deep entrepreneurial insight. He's telling his team they're not just building an app, they're fixing a market failure that impacts millions daily. It elevates the work.
Okay, let's try and bring this all together then. Stewart Butterfield's We Don't Sell Saddles Here memo. It's essentially a masterclass because it seems to intuitively grasp and apply these core ideas from the Austrian School to product development.
Yeah, and in doing so, it offers this powerful antidote maybe to the sort of central planning mindset that still creeps into so many companies.
So for you, the product leader listening to this, adopting this kind of mindset means asking a fundamentally different set of questions, doesn't it?
It really does.
So instead of just defaulting to, okay, what features should we build next, challenge yourself, challenge your team to ask, what progress is our user really trying to make right now?
Right. And instead of getting bogged down in how do we control the roadmap, how do we dictate priorities, maybe ask, how can we design a system, a product, a platform that allows the best information, the best solutions to actually surface organically from our users?
Yeah. And instead of the main celebration being, hey, didn't we ship on time? Push harder. Ask, did we actually observe a tangible, measurable change in our users' behavior because of what we built?
That's the acid test. And finally, maybe broaden the perspective beyond just what's our TAM, how big is the market, and really dig into what fundamental market inefficiency, what deep-seated problem or discoordination are we uniquely positioned to solve?
That shifts the focus significantly.
It absolutely does. So we leave you with that ultimate question, really echoing Butterfield. What saddle are you currently selling? And more importantly, what feeling of a better ride are you really creating for your customers?
We would genuinely love to hear your thoughts on this. What saddles have you maybe stopped selling in your own work?
Right.
Or what better rides are you now committed to creating for your customers? Jump into the comments, share your insights. Let's keep this deep dive going together.
And that brings us to the end of this debrief. Our goal is to give you not just ideas, but a more powerful way to think. If you found value in this discussion, the best way to support this work is to give this episode a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future session. And if you know a fellow product leader who is wrestling with these same challenges, feel free to share this episode with them. As always, you can find the link to the original in-depth article by Karsten Schwarzkopf directly in the description below. Thank you for your time and your attention. Stay sovereign.